All right, half a day, everybody. My name is Tås, and we're back with the Talks with Tås, Taste with Tås series here at Jamaican Grill. So we're actually in the student shack at the Makayla location here on Guam, and I have joining me Makayla Atoigue. Say hello. Say hello.
Hello.
And so Makayla is a multisport athlete, and I thought it would be a great idea to highlight her career and what's to come for her in the sport of particularly rugby. But we'll get into all the details of the other sports she plays. But first, because we didn't eat yet, and I'm starving, we have to talk about what we have to eat today. Yes. Okay, Makayla, take it away. What do we got?
So I chose to get the chicken Kelaguen because, well, I always get that when I come here. And then something I've never tried before has to be the jumbo shrimp. But when I got here, it smelled really good. So that sounds pretty good.
I'm so hungry. Yes, so definitely have had the chicken Kelaguen here. It's classic appetizer to order. I highly recommend. I've also never tried anything on their seafood menu.
I don't know why, but
I know, yeah, I don't know why, because this looks fantastic, and it's actually jumbo. Jumbo shrimp. Jumbo. Okay, because you know when you go to the store and you buy it and then you put it in the pan and then all of a sudden it's small kind, and I don't understand why. But this time it is actually jumbo. We can say, and hopefully you can see it too. But anyway, so let's go grab some of these pieces of meals here. Let's try some things out.
Yeah.
See, I can't even speak correctly because I'm so hungry.
We've just been sitting in front of this, watching it look at us.
Right. And we also have some fruit too.
Yeah,
so I'm going to go in for some of the bananas first. And then while we chow, we can talk about a little bit more about Makayla. So like I had said earlier, Makayla is also not just a rugby player, but she actually started out with weightlifting, and she's also competed in wrestling, and she's only at the high school level, but has already made her mark on Guam and then past Guam too. So Makayla, where do you want to start? You want to start with the first sport?
Ollie lifting?
Yeah.
Definitely. That's a long story.
Olympic weightlifting for those who aren't familiar with the sports. Okay, I got you. I got you.
Olympic weightlifting, I got exposed to it at Custom Fitness actually, because they did a summer camp for kids, and it was one of the activities for the day. So like throughout the day we would do a CrossFit workout, or we even did football and wrestling, and I hated all of it. Except
you hated all of it? Wrestling at the time?
I hated wrestling. Okay. I asked my mom to pick me up early every time.
Oh man.
But unfortunately I had to stay through the day in order to go to the Ollie lifting portion, which was actually coached by Julius Naranjo.
Oh, yep. So he was actually, one of the guests on my podcast series as well. But go ahead, continue. I'm sorry.
So, you're good. So we would just lift there. Sometimes it's just deadlifting. We learned how to clean, and I loved it. That was the first thing I ever learned how to clean.
Yes, my favorite
That's not
too.
Not the one at home, like the one
not clean. My favorite is cleaning the house. I particularly enjoy sweeping the living room and washing the dishes. But no. So talking about the Olympic weightlifting movement, the clean, which is an element of the clean and jerk for those who are not familiar. But so that was one of your first introductions to what you got hooked on with Olympic weightlifting. Okay.
And I got hooked too because it was so nice seeing everyone cheer for someone during a lift. And I think that's where my passion really stemmed in Olympic weightlifting, because it's like they're cheering me on, yet we're sharing a bar and it's getting very competitive.
Yeah.
And I wasn't a competitive person, but in that environment I was like, okay, I can lift that. You just lifted that. So I stuck with it. So then after that camp, I asked my mom for a membership at Custom Fitness, and I just continued to do the classes and everything. So that was a basis for, I guess, passion, I would say. And then I figured out they did annual competitions. So then I did that one, and I got invited with the Guam team that used to be at Chamorai. I don't know where they are now. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember.
And then I was training with them to do the Heidelin Diaz weightlifting open championship.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah.
Really, really, really cool. I think that's just so hilarious, because I would, even though weightlifting, it's two movements only, but compared to sports like football and wrestling, it's still a highly technical movement. movements, I should say, and it requires a lot of consistency when it comes to training and whatnot. So I would like to think it's just interesting to hear that would be the sport that you gravitated to more so early on.
Very unconventional too at the time, but like,
yeah, because how old were you?
I was 13.
13, and how old are you now? Share with the
17
audience.
years old.
Woohoo! Yeah. Getting ready to graduate high school.
Almost there.
Oh man! So in a very short period of time, had the ability to excel in that sport.
Yeah, it's a great environment too. The community here, the Olympic weightlifting community. Yeah, they're here. They're so much fun to be around.
Oh man, yes, I only just joined about a few months ago and hooked.
It's easy to hook onto. Even when I pass by you guys at the gym, I'm like, oh, the life, the good life.
Yes, and training with your teammates, or who would be your teammates, the people who are also competing in that sport, even though it's an individual sport.
Oh no, it's definitely a team. Yeah, it's definitely a team.
And so you started with the weightlifting, and that took off. And what followed was wrestling, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us more about that.
So I did Olympic weightlifting in middle school. I was 13 in middle school. And I was like, let's just try something new because I was in high school. So I joined wrestling. And I was like, okay, this is fun. I used what I could from it, the contact skills and using my strengths in other ways. And then from wrestling, I was like, well, I'm already doing one contact sport, so let's just do the other contact sport, and that was rugby.
What?
I don't know.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Oh, wrestling. Let's just go into a very highly physical sport as well, where we're carrying a weird shaped ball and running around a field. When even though the wrestling and the weightlifting is indoors, and individual.
Let's just get some sun.
Arguably individual, mostly individual.
Yeah. Well, aside from that, also I would say custom fitness, because like the whole everybody does rugby there.
Oh yeah.
So seeing them be so good, and like they always promote when the team goes out, and I love the camaraderie of it on an outside and inside spectrum. So seeing how the gym, custom fitness, gathered around the women's team when they're getting ready for. I forgot what trip they went to, and I saw how they played. I was like, that's so cool, watching like Olivia Flores play.
Oh yeah, my captain, our captain. Yes. Amazing. Shout out Olivia Flores, Tanky Tank, Icebox. She has many names.
Yep. Yeah, Beast.
Mother of two. Yeah, amazing athlete. Also a multi-sport athlete. But anyway, so just being in that community kind of exposed you to those different sports, which I think is really beautiful, because I think otherwise when you don't have those examples, it's really difficult to put yourself out there and to try a new sport. So for me, at least I could say in high school, it was the second year they had introduced rugby at the high school level. And so it wasn't even contact at the time. So it was still flag. Wow. Yeah. And so prior to that, I didn't know about custom fitness, and of course custom fitness wasn't there, but even with the Claris brothers and then all the other people in the rugby community, I wasn't familiar with them until I started to play rugby. And much like you, I did individual sports as well. In the past, I've done Hapkido. Oh wow, that was cool.
That was cool.
Yes, it was cool. Yeah, it was cool because I could just spar my brother. Yeah, and that was fun for me to do. But then doing soccer, and I said, okay, I like the team sport, I like the camaraderie. And so when I tried rugby, it was naturally almost like a mesh of the two, being physical, but still having that team aspect and being outdoors. So I think that's really, really cool for you to have had, and now that the rugby community has continued to grow in the way that it has, that now you can be an example for a lot of younger girls coming up. Because I never played in middle school. That would have been cool.
Gosh.
That would have been real cool. And so what has been amazing to see too is, as the years have gone by, is seeing more opportunities being presented for younger athletes.
Definitely.
And so would you like to tell the audience a little bit more about what sports has given you when it comes to opportunities?
Oh, giving me, that's a lot. Actually.
A lot. You can start with anything, events, scholarships. I'll let her tell the story, but go ahead, Makayla, take it away.
on a smaller scale, but I think all opportunities are like bigger than what they seem. On Guam, playing rugby and also wrestling, you're exposed to certain communities, and there's a lot of adults like everyone at Custom Fitness, and then there's a lot of people in the wrestling community that really look out for us kids and us growing athletes, and they do want us to play in college, and they want us to continually get better. And I would definitely say that that's an opportunity that sports have given me, just exposing me to people who care about me, about other athletes, and wanting us to excel. Like especially the gym. I would really say the gym, they open their doors to a lot of young athletes without really a goal in mind yet, but there is a goal in the end, and it's just really to try and meet your potential, I guess. And I think for a lot of people, if you've never seen Custom Fitness, it's an experience. Walking in there for the first time, just seeing the caliber of athletes, seeing all the equipment, the space, the music that's blasting. You see all the coaches and they're giving you a hard time, and hee hee ha ha. I'm one of them too, but but then realizing, man, this is an amazing place to train. And then being able to meet people who are training, maybe for training's sake or training for specific sports, and that's usually how it kind of works. That's how it trickles down into making decisions to try new sports. So really, really amazing that you've had that experience, especially at 13 years old, and now 4 years later. It just got bigger and bigger too. And so now that we're here, fast forward 17 years old, and you're about to graduate high school. What other things do you think rugby has given you outside of that community aspect? Community? Yes. I guess rugby's made me recognize, I guess, my potential, and it kind of seems a little cheesy, but it's a little true, because I didn't really know what I was capable of or how strong you can get until you play the sport, and you don't really see that far. And I never, if you asked me a year ago today, I never would have thought I'd be able to play rugby in college. It was all very small. It was just I want to go play rugby. That was the simple goal. I want to go play in the States. Keeping it simple. And then it's just well, you can open new doors based off of that one little step. So that was good. A year ago today, I think I was getting on a plane to go play in the States. Man, only a year ago. I know. And so can you tell the audience what it was like playing in the States? It was, at first I had an intense culture shock, for real, but there's one thing about rugby that's universal. It's no matter where you are on the globe, and everyone, it's such a good environment to be around. It's everyone is family based around the ball, and it's so good. And so over the summer, the way it worked was we trained with the team for 2 weeks, and then we fly together to a tournament, and it happened twice. I went in June, I went in July. Wow. So the first one, I was a little nervous because I had to hold back from saying words like leche, and they're like, what's that? And I'm the mannerisms and your accent, and just the expressions, and I totally understand what that feels like, but it still was okay. It was I think I got caught lacking one time because I said it, and they were like, I was like, oh shoot. I just corrected shoot, and I'm like, what was the first word you said? Well, or you just repeat yourself twice. How you doing? Doing good. How are you? All right. But really, I totally I understand what you mean when you talk about the rugby culture itself, and I think that's why it's taken off the way that it has here on Guam, because there are a lot of elements to the culture around rugby that I think Pacific Islanders gravitate towards, that community aspect, like you said, and then it just being a big party 9 out of 10 times, being physical too. Oh yeah, and then that idea of earning people's respect on the field. I mean, oftentimes, I'm considered a bigger athlete on Guam, and I'm not big unless you think I am, but no, and so so small out there. For us to put ourselves out there, put our bodies on the line for our team,
we get a lot of we earn a lot of respect from the other athletes, particularly the athletes that are oftentimes twice our size.
Yeah. Also on the other team, that's another thing. You can speak on your experience as well, like playing internationally. Like you guys will be hitting each other in the opposite side. Like I played in Hong Kong, and we played against Singapore, and we're hitting each other, but then right off the field we're like, hey, you're like, hey.
Exactly. It's such a great energy to be around, and then. The same thing with the audience. It's not typical for like in soccer or football where the rivalries are for real. And there are rivalries, but at the end of the day, everyone's partying after. They're hanging out and they're enjoying each other's company and they're just enjoying the sport, which I think is very unique about rugby. And I think that's also partly why it's so attractive to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so that has to be amazing for you to have gone out there and then also just represent Guam too in your own way. Even though you're not saying leche and shoot and like dalai anything like that, like anything like that. But to still be able to be out there and be like, hey, she's from Guam, and like that small girl.
Tell me about it. It's tough. It's tough, but.
And so you played in Hong Kong and you've competed against the Asian teams as well.
Yes, I have.
So what do you think would be the biggest differences between the U.S. style of play and Asian style of play?
Well, the size up. When we played in Asia, I would say we're all relatively the same size.
Yep.
I went to Florida and we were playing against Canada and Alaska. And like teams from Utah, and I was like, "There's something in this Western air. I don't know.
Something in the water that they're drinking.
Something.
I think they grabbed them from the mountains.
Yep.
Oh man,
huge.
Yeah, I think the only team that outside of like for example like Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, where their size is definitely noticeable. China, good lord.
Really?
Back now I think their athletes are smaller. As of recent, but when we were competing against them, they all look like twins. Or I don't even know what the word would be for if it's seven people who look exactly alike, but they were all easily six feet. And I just remember, well, at least we have better leverage. We can get low and it not be that difficult versus them getting low on us. So we do have advantages as smaller athletes.
Oh, and rugby too. They always say rugby is a sport for all sizes.
Exactly.
It really is. It really is. Some more advantages than the other. Like you might have a longer stride, but
yeah. No, most definitely. And so now we're getting ready to graduate. So what's after that?
So a month ago, I signed to play at Ivy Brown University.
Yes, congrats.
I'm so excited. That was my dream school to play rugby and go to school for a while. So I'm very happy. That was the one place I really wanted.
Yeah.
So it's looking pretty good. And that's what I'm training for right now.
Amazing. And so can you tell the audience a little bit more of what that process was like leading up to it? Like meaning being recruited and them even taking interest in you. What did that entail?
It was a lot. I would say last year around April, I had to send out emails to a bunch of different colleges, their head coaches, and I attached my resume, and then
sounds like a job application.
Oh, it is. It really is. And then we got into Zoom calls and introduced myself, and then they tell me what they want and where they'll be. And it was pretty straightforward that the scouting season was going to be at 2 competitions.
Okay.
One in June, it was called Falcon Sevens, and one in July, the North American Invitationals.
Amazing.
And so it was the only way to really get recruited was to be there and to play better than, I guess, the other people in my pool.
So it definitely took a lot of commitment, a lot of time and energy, and a lot of sacrifice, and just not on your part, but the people who support you. Yeah, exactly. And if it's what you want, I mean, now you're going to reap the rewards after. Because it's not, I wouldn't say I was the most disciplined. In high school, I was not. Much more of the discipline came after high school or in the middle of high school. So for you to kind of take it upon yourself to say, this is what I want, that's really something for people to admire or be inspired by. especially for those athletes who are currently playing rugby right now.
It's a lot, but and also with everyone playing right now, I would have to say ever since I came back over the summer, like I definitely want to help people.
Yeah.
There's a couple girls on my team I'm helping with their resume as well, and
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
I just want to continue it because it was a crazy process. Yeah, but I would relive it over and over because it was so much fun to be able to, and I was traveling by myself, so I was like, I just went out there and I played, and you have to continue to email these coaches. You need to maintain your relationship with them. Yeah, and you kind of get on a high a little bit living this life, like this athlete life. It's so
even though
fun.
It seems like a sacrifice, but you're experiencing all these new things and meeting all these new people and getting to travel, and so easy way to kind of change your perspective when it seems, man, I don't want to fill out this application. Well, what is it going to lead to? Yeah. What opportunities are you going to, even if, let's say it doesn't go your way, but the fact that you can travel and meet all these coaches and meet all these athletes and play, that's an experience in itself. Yeah. And so I think that's really awesome for people to learn about you and to know about just general basics of the process of what it means to try and get a scholarship. And a scholarship to places like Brown. Oh my gosh. Amazing. It's
insane, yeah.
Matt, well, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't even let you eat it. You can go ahead and have some. Tell people what the Kelaguen is like. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the jumbo shrimp. Oh, I've definitely had it in other episodes. But the jumbo shrimp is actually really, really good. I like it. It's spicy. The meat, it's not dry or anything. It's easy to peel off. Dude, I'm ordering this again. I'm definitely ordering. I saved the other two for you if you want.
Oh, thank you.
You know, the flies like it too, unfortunately. But that's when you know it's good, you know. Fiesta plate too here on Guam. Oh, if the flies are there, you know it's good. You know it's good. Oh yeah. So tell everybody what you think of the Kelaguen.
Oh, this never fails.
Yeah, is it like is it more on the sour side or is it spicy?
More sour, but I prefer sour.
I prefer sour too. Yeah, super Mexican.
The lemon powder in there.
Oh yeah, I know. I love how it's sour and they have lemon just in case.
Because someone who is gonna want more.
And I think what's different about the Kelaguen here at Jamaican Grill is they fry their tortillas or their tortillas here, which is also different. It's almost like it's like a Guam version of, tortilla chips that you would get at a Mexican restaurant. I love it. I love it a lot. All right. So before we wrap up, why don't you tell everybody what your favorite muscle is? I ask everybody this. I know it's a weird question. Oh, no. But I love the answers I've gotten so far.
Without a doubt, triceps.
What? Yeah. The triceps?
Because,
Makayla, I would have never thought the triceps.
Yes. If I'm bored, I'll do dips on something.
Are you kidding me? When she's bored, she does dips, people.
Because that claw.
When you're in the presence of greatness, that's what they do. Okay, they do dips.
Yeah, I love it.
The claw?
That claw?
Is that what you call it? The claw?
Yeah, the bottom. It's so nice.
Oh my gosh, man.
Gosh, if you see me years from now and all I have are triceps, I accomplished my life goal. That's it.
All right. So how do people connect with you, Makayla, if they want to learn more about your story?
I would say I'm mostly active on Instagram at Makayla Atoigue. And that's where I do most of my updates.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on again.
Thank you for
I've had an awesome time. Yes, we're going to go finish chowing the food here at Jamaican Grill.
This is not going to waste.
No. All right.